You know what look at my African-American over here.
Trump is like that racist grandmother who blames everything bad in America on the colors, even when whatever happened was obviously not. Now the First Lady.
So happy together.
Has temporarily replaced her hate for black people with foreigners. Well, temporarily. Today, Trump is blaming the New Orleans attack on our immigration policies. And ironically, it's Fox News saying, hey, fatso, not so fast.
President-elect Donald Trump put out a statement on social media earlier today that reads as follows. When I said that the criminals coming in are far worse than the criminals we have in our country, that statement was constantly refuted by Democrats and the fake news media, but it turned out to be true. The crime rate in our country is at a level that nobody has ever seen before. Our hearts are with all the innocent victims and their loved ones, including the brave officers of the New Orleans Police Department. The Trump administration will fully support the city of New Orleans as they investigate and recover from this act of pure evil. Now, the former president said criminals coming in his statement, meaning into our country. But to be clear, Molly and Brian, the suspect was born in the United States. He served in the United States Army. He was a veteran. The FBI is the lead agency in this investigation, going through the social media and any other accounts associated with the suspect. But that key bulletin right there by the Louisiana State Police, the Associated Press was first to report, shows potentially other people involved. And the FBI was cagey during that news conference as far as saddling in with a specific number of how many other suspects. Governor Jeff Landry, the Republican governor in Louisiana, said they essentially don't want to tip their hat to anybody and tell any other potential suspects or potential accomplices what they know. But President Biden continuing to get updates from afar. He will be back at the White House tomorrow. And of course, it's possible at any time we will hear some more formal statement about this tragedy on New Year's Day.
Here's the problem. This hump, this weak little boy, will soon have the nuclear codes, all while making insane declarations without the facts. Because he lies about everything to fit his facts into his fucked up little world of make-believe. And his mental acuity resembles Rudy Giuliani at a DUI checkpoint.
Isn't truth. Truth isn't truth. The facts, I'm still learning.
Now, it could be that this guy actually had some connections to the Middle East, but we don't know that yet. We do know he wasn't from there. He's from Texas, a state where the average citizen's IQ routinely competes with their blood alcohol content. This guy didn't sneak in via a coyote. He was born here and joined the military. Look, there's no doubt that the U.S. doesn't have a cohesive immigration plan, but Trump has been lying about it for years. And at the heart of it is the color of the people coming in from the South.
You have been widely criticized, Donald, as you know, for offending immigrants in your announcement speech. I want to just play again exactly what you said in that speech. Here you are.
When Mexico sends its people, they're not sending their best. They're sending people that have lots of problems. And they're bringing those problems with us. They're bringing drugs, they're bringing crime, they're rapists, and some, I assume, are good people.
Now, you've tried to clarify this statement in recent days, Donald, but I guess the question comes down to this. Do you regret saying that specifically about rapists, or do you stand by it?
No, not at all. Of course, it's not only Mexico. If you let that run a little bit longer, it talks about people coming from all over. They're coming from all over. They'll soon be coming, and probably already have, be coming from all over the world. You're probably going to have people, you're probably going to have terrorists coming from the Middle East. Somebody said, oh, we don't have terrorists. They don't even know, because they don't know who's coming.
Now, two important points. One, immigrants from the southern border commit fewer crimes than Americans. I mean, if someone's going to rob, rape, or physically attack you, an American citizen, the odds that it will be an undocumented worker are about 1 in 100,000. Now, granted, that's not mega million odds, but I like my chances. And me, I live on the border with Mexico. I see Mexicans every day, hundreds of them. And do you know who I'm afraid of? It ain't Juan, it's John.
We are going to start the largest mass deportation in the history of our country because we have no choice. It's not sustainable. For years, I wondered, why are they allowing these people to come in at levels like this? It was incredible. And I said two reasons. They're either really stupid, and I don't believe they're stupid, because anybody that can cheat on elections like they cheat is not stupid.
Every metric we have shows it's going to be impossible to deport undocumented workers and their children who are U.S. citizens under the 14th Amendment, because the economic impact will be like an asteroid hitting our GNP or Trump sitting on your lap after dinner.
That's disgusting.
Farmers across America say the price of food could quadruple. That's 400% inflation because Trump's base of hillbilly racists demand it.
In Alabama, farming is more than just a way of life. It's the state's #1 industry, and until recent years relied heavily on immigrant workers. But 6 years ago, Alabama introduced the country's harshest anti-illegal immigration law, and undocumented workers left in droves.
And all the workers left, and people were, all they had the crops out there ready to harvest, so they didn't have anybody to pick them. So a lot of farms lost their whole crop and went out of business because they lost all their money.
The wide sweeping law made it illegal to hire or house undocumented workers, and even Hispanic school children were targeted by the authorities. Aware of the need for agricultural workers, Jerry Spencer turned to unemployed Americans, but says after 2 weeks most couldn't cope.
The farmer says, start over here and end over here. And that was the extent of their instructions. With the American workers, they all had to be taught all this and separate. And in addition to the fact that their bodies just were not built for it.
Why? Because what American do you know will work 14-hour days in the field picking produce under the most extreme conditions? Immigration isn't our problem, it's a xenophobic response.
It is true our borders are out of control. It is also true that this has been a situation on our borders back through a number of administrations. And I supported this bill. I believe in the idea of amnesty for those who have put down roots and who have lived here, even though some time back they may have entered illegally.
If we make undocumented immigrants U.S. citizens like Reagan wanted to, the taxes would add exponentially to the $94 billion they're already contributing to Social Security and Medicare.
America is for Americans and Americans only.
America has to get used to the idea that white is not the national color.
And white people are done being bullied.
Discriminating against and denigrating, just denigrating white people.
But you see the problem, and now Trump has revealed both sides of his burgeoning hypocrisy. He's a racist bigot, but he's also broke and willing to sell MAGA down the road if Musk will reward him for this H-1B visa program.
Someone has found a quote from Donald Trump where he says he backs H-1B visas. Now, that would be contradictory to what he has said in the past. I've always liked the visas. I've always been in favor of the visas. That's why we have them. I have many H-1B visas on my properties. I've been a believer in H-1B.
The program that brings in foreign workers to, simply put, do jobs that Americans are already doing. They won't be picking strawberries in a field in California's breadbasket. They'll be coding and doing well-paid technical jobs MAGA would love to do, with competitive salaries, health care, and other benefits.
If I'm elected president, I am going to keep radical Islamic terrorists the hell out of our country.
Look, it's okay to be wary of terrorists, especially after what's going on in the Middle East with Gaza, Hezbollah, Houthis, ISIS, and Iran. But when Trump talks like this,
Donald J. Trump is calling for a total and complete shutdown of Muslims entering the United States until our country's representatives can figure out what the hell is going on.
Keeping Muslims out of the U.S.? Well, he's ignoring the fact that Muslims are not only here, but they were born here. They're Americans.
If you don't like our religion, then we don't want you in our country.
Look, that's next, people. Between this princess and the rest of MAGA,
So happy together.
They think the answer to terror is to create a theocracy, like that's working so well in the Middle East, where the #1 killer of Muslims is, Muslims.
It's the enemy from within.
There is one thing you can count on with Trump. He's always wrong. It's as predictable as gravity. He will attack the wrong people for the wrong reasons with disastrous results. And remember that old racist grandmother who spewed her venomous hate toward innocent Americans? Well, that's Trump, with a sprinkling of anger and dementia. Living in a free nation is not without risks, but every day living with Trump is a clear and present danger.
Damn right.
Tick-tock, mother. This is not a normal election.
Yes!
That is crazy.
This isn't their Republican Party anymore.
They're eating the dogs.
You're an idiot!
Trust me.
Shut the f*** up, Dan.
Who's with me?
Oh, yeah, the lie.
Indictable.
Out of sheer morbid curiosity, I'm allowing this freak show to continue.
I don't want to talk about this stuff.
Am I wrong?
Yes!
Tick-tock,
You're in a lot of trouble, Donnie.
I think he's crazy.
I'm Chip Franklin.